Hello folks, my name is Rojo, and this is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, a pretty well-known RPG set in the Star Wars universe, made by Bioware and published by LucasArts. It came out back in 2003, I believe, somewhere around there. This is the PC version, it also came out on Xbox, and we're going to do a playthrough. So, why don't we go ahead and start a new game, although I will say that I'm using a mod to make it so we can play this game in widescreen. However, it does have this sort of unfortunate effect of making the UI really tiny, at least, you know, the menus, I guess I should say. So we'll have to sort of just suck it up and deal with that, but I think it's worth it to be able to play the rest of the game in a little bit of a more favorable resolution. Now then, we have three classes that we can choose from. We can choose male or female, of course, there's no difference here, but the Scoundrel you can think of as sort of like your Han Solo type, gets lots of skill points, not a super big combatant. They get, well, I guess, let me rephrase that. I guess they get more skill points, but they get less in the way of feats, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The Scout is kind of somewhere in the middle, and the Soldier gets a lot of feats, not many skill points, and they are really good at fighting, as you can imagine. So they get like a lot of bonus to their attacks and stuff like that to hit. So we will be going as a Scout for this playthrough, I believe. Now, we could do a quick character. We don't want to do that, though. We're going to make a custom character because, of course, the best part of any RPG is making your character. Now then, we have several options for portraits, and I actually have another mod installed. It's the only other mod that I've got going here, but it's just an extra head pack. So, as you can see, we could be Darth Maul, I believe his name was. I don't remember, but no, we are going to be going with this gentleman here, which is actually a standard head. The head pack just kind of added a beard to this version of it, and I think it looks, you know, it looks pretty suave, I guess. So we'll go with this. And now, let's do some attributes. So, anybody who's played, like, Neverwinter Nights, or any kind of 3.0 based, or I guess not 3.0 based, but rather D20 based RPG is probably going to be pretty familiar with this stat system. I believe this is loosely based on the D20 Star Wars pencil and paper RPG. I played something I played like a long time ago, and I'm not sure if that is an entirely accurate statement, but I feel like it's probably pretty close. So, what do we want to do? So, if you're not familiar, we'll go through this very briefly. Strength, plus to hit and damage with melee weapons. Dexterity gives you a bonus to your armor class, and a bonus to hit with ranged weapons. Constitution, more hit points. Intelligence, more skill points. Wisdom gives you, I guess, resistances to force powers, and, you know, spoiler, there's a non-zero chance we may or may not become a Jedi at some point in this playthrough. So it'll increase the effectiveness of our force powers to some extent, and Charisma lets you sort of influence people a little bit more readily, and also affects the difficulty of our force powers as far as the difficulty to resist them. There we go, that's what I'm trying to say here. And we got our standard sort of point buy system here. So as we spend more points in a particular stat, you can see it's costing us 1 point per stat point. Now it's going to cost 2, and then now it's going to cost 3. So, kind of encourages you to spread things out, potentially, or if you want to go all out, you certainly can. Now then, we are going to go with I think a 16 dex, and I guess I should have said this earlier, but we're only going to be making a character in this video. We'll actually play the flipping thing in the next video, so this video probably won't be very long. But, let's see here. So I want a 10 constitution, yeah, 16 dex. I'm going to get a 14. I think I'm actually just going to do 14 in all of these, which means we're going to be kind of a weakling. We're not going to be very good in melee combat as far as hit and damage goes. However, there's a reason for this, and that is because we're going to focus actually on ranged weapons, which I imagine has been done before in a playthrough on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, but maybe one of the less common things people choose to do. I've certainly never done it, which is why I'm doing it now. I hesitate to think that, I mean, this game has been played so much, I hesitate to think that anything hasn't been done in this game before, because it is a very popular game, and for good reason. I think it's held up pretty well, even now, over the years. So, now we have some skills. So, skills, we got computer use is going to allow us to, like, basically hack computers, I guess, basically. That's a basically is what I'm saying. The way this works is we're going to get some like computer spikes basically, and the higher the skill is, the less we have to use. So that's useful. Demolitions lets us deal with mines. We can set and disarm them. Stealth allows us to be stealthy. Awareness allows us to see stealthy people and I think mines and maybe other things. I mean, you could read this, I guess, but I'm kind of paraphrasing here. Persuade lets us persuade people to give us more stuff, basically. Repair. We can repair certain items. It's also used to heal droids as well, I believe. And it has a similar mechanic to computer use with repair parts. Security allows us to open up doors that are locked. Treat injury increases the effectiveness of our med packs, so we'll be able to heal more effectively sort of via items. Now then, the scout gets kind of mid-range skill points. We're going to actually get some computer use here. We're going to go a little bit all over the place. There's a reason I'm going to put 1 point in stealth, even though we're not actually going to be probably doing much stealth. And also, this is a good time to explain. So you can see here, it says class skill for computer use for demolitions, but once I get to stealth, this is cross-class skill. What that means is it's going to cost us 2 of our skill points to get an effective pip of this skill, and it also reduces the maximum that the skill can be. So normally, the max level of a skill is 3 plus your level. For a cross-class skill, it's 3 plus your level divided by 2, and then rounded down. So if we were level 2, this would be 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, rounded down is 2. So once we get level 3, we would actually be able to get another point of stealth, if that makes any sense. Let's see, what do we want? We want Persuade. This is a cross-class skill, but I do want to be able to actually talk to people once in a while. That's why I put a little bit into Charisma as well. Repair, we probably want, yeah, I'm interested. Security, 1 point, because there's another little caveat, which is some skills require you to be trained, which means you have to actually put 1 point in there to be able to use the skill at all. So we're going to do that just so we can do some security early on if we choose and or need to. And then finally, I suppose... actually, whoops, yeah, let's get rid of that 1 point of stealth, though. We'll put 2 points in awareness, we'll put 1 point in treat injury. So we're kind of all over the place, but we'll focus up a little bit more as we kind of get more levels and stuff. Okay, next step, feats. Right, so... these are kind of, you can think of these as sort of special abilities or more core abilities, I guess, to your class or character. As a scout, we start with light armor proficiency and medium armor proficiency. Without these proficiencies, we would not be able to wear that class of armor. Now we get Flurry, which gives us an extra melee attack at the expense of defense and attack bonus. As a scout, we get the ability to install implants, which is something other people can get, but we kind of get these for free, which is also, I mean, anybody can get any of these feats, but different classes get different things, basically. Now, yeah, so we can get implants, cybernetic implants, which basically increase, like, our attributes or skills or that kind of thing. We'll find more as we play the game. Rapid Shot, very much like Flurry, except for guns, basically. And we're proficient with pistols and rifles and melee weapons. So we can't use, for example, without spending another feat, we could not use the heavy weapons of the game. So if you find, I don't even know what to call. I'm not a big on my Star Wars lore, honestly, or names of stuff anymore. But basically, if we find the Star Wars equivalent of the BFG, we wouldn't be able to use it without this feat, if that makes any sense. Now, there's a lot of options here. We can get just so many different things. However, we're going to be focusing on blaster pistols and, indeed, eventually dual-wielding them. However, dual-wielding, there's a lot to kind of take in here, but suffice to say, we won't hit anything if we try to dual-wield at lower levels, just because the attack penalty is enormous. So instead, I'm going to do us a simple favor and just give us a +1 attack bonus with blaster pistols kind of early on here. I think that'll help us out a lot, especially since the scout is kind of just an average attacker, not quite as good as the soldier, and actually the same as the scoundrel. But let's go ahead and add this feat. There we go. And we have to choose a name. Now we could go with any one of these random names. I thought I saw Quiche in there somewhere. But as good as these names might be, there's only one name for such a man as the one that we are playing, and that is Drellix. No last name. We don't need 2 names. Just the one is fine. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and push play in a second here, but one final note. The intro uses the sort of classic Star Wars intro music, which, of course, is copyrighted and creates some content ID issues. So, I've licensed a very similar song to be played from a group called, I believe, 8-Bit Universe. And you can check the description for a link to the song and I guess to their YouTube channel as well. And just check it out if you're interested. So with that, let's go ahead and get started here. And then in the next episode, we will play this flippin' thing. Alright, see you soon.